Hey guys, here's tutorial number 21, and in this tutorial this is what we're going to build. We're going to actually show how much it takes for certain category of people to take train in Singapore for a certain distance. So actually show you from what distance to what distance, and then before what time, how much the train fare will cost you, and then different category of people will be charged with differently, and weekday and weekends fare will be different as well. So it serves as an information page for you to check roughly how much it will cost for you to travel from one side of Singapore to the other based on the distance, okay, and based on the time. So we're gonna have multiple tab, and we're gonna make use of the Kivy tab, and yeah, I'm gonna show you how. But first, make sure you have this app by SG Transport on your phone, because this is going to be the baseline that we want to use at the end of the series to upload to the Google Play Store and create an APK on your phone. And also, if you like my video content, if you like what I'm doing, I appreciate if you can contribute to my channel at Buy Me a Coffee, Marcus123, which is my page. And yeah, let's go to the step 1 of our web-based version of tutorial at learn-skill.com tutorial number 21. So as usual, we want to create the screen. The first 4 steps are going to be the same. Let's go to our script, My Transport app, and this is where we left off in the last tutorial. We created a train map screen with async image, scatter, and extensible. And then as you click on the fare, it's going to crash because we didn't create a train fare screen yet. So this is what we're going to do next. In the main.py, if you scroll all the way up, we're going to create a class for the train fare. So we call it train fare screen, and then save it in the main.kv. Copy this, paste it here, and in the train fare, in the screen manager, we want to have the train fare screen available. Okay, now we want to create this kv file in the kv folder. Okay, oops, train fare screen.kv. Okay, and then we want to copy this. So as usual, we have a float layout, and then we have 2 grid layout. The bottom one is going to be the one for your navigation bar, which is this one. So we have our back button to bring it back to the home screen, and then we have our MRT LRT screen button, we have our service alert button, and then we have our train map button, and lastly we have our train fare button. This grid layout, which take up 79.5% of the screen, is going to be the place where we want to put our tab and also our tab content. Okay, so let's look at how we can create a tab and tab content and then put it here in this grid layout. Okay, so we go to main.py, and then to have the content here, where we are going to get our data. Yeah, there's a question, right? Where is our source of data for this train fare? We actually want to use the Singapore Government Tourism Information and Services Hub. The train fare data is provided here. If you go to this page, I will put this link at the description of the video, and so that you can look for it easily. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to go to this getting started, and then TIH Developer account. Click on this, and it's going to bring you here. So if you are Singaporean, or you are Singapore PR or work permit user, someone with a work permit or so on, If you have a SyncPass access, then you can register with SyncPass. Otherwise, you need to register for TIH portal ID. Okay. Then once you register it, okay, you will be able to get your API key. Okay, by go to the setting and check on I would like to have API key. Okay, so once you have the API key, and then we can go to this API key.py, okay, which is this one. Go inside and then define what is your TIH API key. So you put your API key here as a string with a double colon on both sides. So I'm not going to show you what is my API key, but I think you can do that, right? In your API key _.py, just put in this line and then replace this with your own API key after you register yourself as a developer. So after you did that, in the main.py we want to import the API key. So yeah, so here we also want to import TIH API key. Oops. TIH API key. Okay. So I think I haven't do that, so I'm going to do it away from the screen, and let me try to do it. I need to look for my API key. So you can also take some time to do it at the moment. API key _.py, then copy my TIH API key, and then okay. So I have created my API key, TIH API key in the API key _.py. Okay. And the next step that we want to do is to create a transfer.py. So you can create this transfer.py here. Excuse me. And let's copy this. So in the transfer.py, this is the three classes that we are going to have. Okay. First, we want to have a transfer class. This one represents the entire screen. And then we will have a class for transfer tab, which refers to the tab on top here, all the tabs. And then we will have a transfer ThreeLineListItem list. ThreeLineListItem. This is going to be all this content. So the screen is when you instantiate the screen, and then if you run it, it's going to call for builder.loadString, which will load this, and then it's going to return it. So we will instantiate this at the main.py, and then it's going to build this. So we will have our tab here inside a box layout. So all our tab will be here. As you click on the tab, it's going to call this function at the main.py. And then depends on which tab is clicked, it's going to pass the instance, the name of that tab, to the main.py. And based on which tab is clicked, we are going to create a content for that particular tab. And this one is going to represent the content of your tab. Okay, so this one will be the content of the tab. The content is going to be in the scroll view and then grid layout. So this one will represent this, okay, and then this MD tab will represent this. Okay, so first thing we need to do is to instantiate this in the main.py. Okay, and then we want to add this also. So let's go to main.py, okay, and then during the onStart, we want to instantiate the tab, the transfer screen. So which is the next step? Okay, first we need to import the class, of course, to make sure that we can use them. Right here. So we are importing 3 classes: transfer, transfer tab, and transfer 3LineListItem to the main.py. And then during the onStart, we want to say that transfer layout is equal to self.root.id transfer screen.id transfer layout. So we are referring to the transfer screen, this one. We are referring to this grid layout, and then in this grid layout, we want to add our transfer. Our transfer is going to transfer class instantiation.run. So we are going to have this builder.row string of this whole thing to be added to the transfer layout, which is our transfer screen. Okay, so this is defined and run during onStart. And the next thing that we want to do in the main.py under the change screen function, if let's say the screen is transfer screen, okay, if the screen is transfer screen, what we are going to do? Okay, it's slightly complicated here. So first thing, we want to change the title of the screen to transfer. Okay, that is simple. The next thing is that we want to use this URL. We want to send a GET request. So your API key is going to equal to your TIH API key. Okay, so we are going to request to this URL plus your API key, and then we are going to JSON.load your result.content, and this response is going to something like this, because we are actually requesting for the types of the transfer available. So you can go to documentation, and then you can see that public transport fare, okay, we have fare types and fare. So if you go to fare types, right, yeah, if you put your API key here and then you send, if you will get all the transfer types available. So I haven't already done that, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 categories are available for the transfer type. Okay, so we are going to create 6 tabs because we have 6 different types of transfer type. Okay, so transfer tab is equal to self.transfer.id.tabs. For this, I'm referring to this. I'm referring to here, MD tabs. Okay, so I will check if this transfer tab has got any class that belongs to transfer tab. If yes, I will remove it, and then I will create a new one. So for fare type, in this transfer types response, okay, I will add the transfer tab. So I'm going to instantiate this transfer tab here. I'm going to instantiate it, and then I'm going to pass the information text is equal to transfer type. So for all the 6 transfer data type here, I'm going to pass here to this transfer tab, and then I'm going to create 6 tab, and then I'm going to add it to this transfer.id.tabs. Okay, I hope you managed to catch it. So this allows us to create 6 tab to the transfer screen, which is all these 6 tab. Okay, so with the tabs, now we want to create content. So how do we do that? So if you come back to here, this is the last step. We want to add a content to each transfer tab. So we can create a function. So let's say we create above the change screen. I like to leave the change screen as the last function. Make sure you have the correct indentation for the function. So remember, in our transfer.py, okay, as we click on the tab, it's going to call this function, and it's going to pass these args to this function. So let's go to this function. So this function is going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 arguments. The instant tab is going to be the full object. Then instant tab without s is going to be an object as well. So we are interested on this tab text, which is going to be the text or the name of that particular tab. Okay, if you have this senior citizen card fare, it's going to pass the senior citizen card fare to this tab text. So we want to use this tab text to send a GET request to this URL. So this URL, you can find it in the documentation, which is the get MRT LRT fare. So yeah, this is the URL, resource URL. So we're going to put the URL here, pass our API key, and then we're going to send a request. So when you send a request, you can JSON.load it and then put it into our response. Okay, so now how do we actually put the data? Now we get the data from sending request to this URL. How do we put the data to that particular tab? Okay, here is how we are going to do that. So instant tab content is going to be instant tab. So we are referring to this tab at that particular instance .id.content. So let's say we are coming from senior citizen card fare. Okay, then this instant tab is going to be this object, senior citizen card fare tab object. Then we will refer to its content .id.content, which is this one. We are going to refer to here. So this is where we are going to add our content. So at that particular content, we check if there is any transfer tree line list item. If yes, then we remove it, and then we create a new one. So for transfer in transfer response, okay, depends on how many response they are available. We use the instant tag.content.add widget, or then we will add this transfer tree line list item, which is available here. Okay, then we are going to pass the argument of transfer equal to transfer. Okay, so we are going to pass all the data to this transfer tree line list item, and then we are going to add widget to that particular instance tab. Okay, so this tree line list item, transfer tree line list item is going to take the quads of transfer. Okay, and then the key of fare is going to be your dollar value, this one. Okay, fare in Sing dollar. So now here we are using a Kivy ThreeLineListItem, and then the first line of text is going to be the timing, and then the secondary text is going to be the distance, and then the tertiary text is going to be the fare. So the fare actually put additional Singapore dollar symbol at the front of the string, and then yeah, I divide the transfer in cent by 100 to make it dollar. Okay, and then I put it as the tertiary text. So after you create this tree line list item, you want to add it to the class. Okay, so now we are done. Make sure you follow my step, and then you can run it. Okay, it's going to take a while. So MRT LRT, and as you click on the fare, right, it will take some time to create, because there are actually quite a lot of data. So now we have our transfer screen with the tab and the content. So this one is going to be a scroll view. So you see we have quite a lot of data actually. That's why it's taking a little bit time to create the tab. Okay, Then you can scroll the tab. Okay. So let's say we click on, say, adult cafe. It's going to switch to adult cafe. It's going to take some time because this one has got a lot of data as well. Excuse me. So the other way that you can do it is to pre-save this data into your myapp.db, and yeah, maybe you can update the database maybe single day or every 1 week, because this I assume that this trend fair are not going to change quite often. So here I'm doing like every time the user is in this screen, we are sending a request, but you can actually save that all in your myapp.db. You can create a table for that, for example fair table, and then you can have all this information in there, and then you use the SQL to select this data from your database. That will be a lot faster in terms of response. Okay, but here I'm using request.get, and with this amount of information, it's taking quite some time to do it, and therefore it's loading a little bit slow here. This is something that you can improve if you want to, and I'm just showing you how you can make use of Kivy tab to show the MRT LRT fair in Singapore, and that is one way of doing it. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial, and in the next one we are going to look at the next public transport or transport way, which is the traffic. So in the traffic screen, right, traffic, we are going to have the incidents, roadworks, traffic images, and road burning. So in the next tutorial, we will look at how to create an incidents screen to show what are the incidents that are happening on the road. And we'll click then, it's going to pop up MD dialog. So it's quite similar to, for example, the taxi screen that we have created, or maybe the MRT LRT screen that we have created. So if you're interested in that, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and recommend it to your friend, and I hope to see you in the next one.